You know that feeling when you can just tell what someone's thinking before they even say a single word? Well, that's because we're all constantly speaking this powerful, unspoken language. And today, we're going to learn its grammar. Seriously, take a second, think about it right now. Are you leaning in, kind of curious? Or are your arms crossed? Maybe you're slumped over your phone. Every single one of those little things, it's a signal. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. So let's get into it. We're going to decode this language that every single one of us speaks. And by the end of this, you're going to be a much more fluent speaker. And, just as importantly, a better listener. So, what are we talking about here? Well, the official term is nonverbal communication. It's basically all the messages we send without actually saying anything. And what's so wild is that these cues, a shrug, a smile, a glance, they often say way more about how we truly feel than our words ever could. Okay, so to really crack this code, we need to understand 3 key areas. First up, we've got kinesics, which is all about the language of movement. Then we'll get into haptics, the incredible power of touch. And finally, we're going to explore proxemics, which is all about the meaning of space. Let's jump in with that first key. All right, kinesics, this is all about how our bodies talk. It's probably the most obvious part of this whole unspoken language, but trust me, it's also got so many layers. The name itself, kinesics, actually comes from the Greek word for movement, kinesis, which makes total sense, right? It covers the whole shebang, our gestures, our facial expressions, our posture, even our eye contact. It's a massive part of how we get our point across. And this is where it gets really interesting. Think of these as the specific words in the language of movement. Gestures like waving are pretty straightforward, right? But what about eye contact? Holding someone's gaze can show you're totally dialed in, while looking away can signal the exact opposite. And our faces, they're like billboards for our emotions. And posture can scream confidence before you even open your mouth. And speaking of posture, look at this. It shows just how much it matters. Holding your head high, leaning in, that sends a message of confidence, of engagement. But then you've got the flip side, slumped shoulders, looking away. That's an instant signal of maybe anxiety or just plain disinterest. It's amazing how a tiny shift can completely change the entire message. Let's move on to our second key, haptics. This one's all about the power of touch, which is, one of the most direct and meaningful ways we can possibly communicate. The word haptics comes from a Greek word meaning to fasten, and it's the perfect description. It's how we use touch to connect with people. Think about it. A firm handshake screams confidence. A hand on the shoulder can be so comforting. Even a simple high five builds a little bond. These little moments of contact communicate so much, from affection to even control. It's a really fundamental, almost primal way we connect with each other. So, from the intimacy of touch, let's zoom out a bit to our final key, which is all about the space between us. Because it's not just how our bodies move, but how they exist in relation to others. Welcome to the world of proxemics. Proxemics, it comes from the Latin word for near, is basically the study of personal space. That invisible bubble of space you keep around yourself. It's not random. Nope. It's a silent negotiation that says a ton about your relationship with the person you're with and how comfortable you are. This is the perfect example. If you find yourself naturally putting a lot of distance between you and someone else, you're sending a pretty clear message without saying a thing. You're communicating that you don't feel close, or maybe even that you don't feel all that safe. The space itself is part of the conversation. So we've just unlocked our 3 keys: movement, touch, and space. Now let's pull it all together so you can start to, really read the room and your own signals with a whole new level of awareness. So here's what you really need to remember. Your body, it never stops talking. Your movements, the way you use touch, the amount of space you keep, they are constantly sending out messages. Words are only half the conversation. To really get the full story, you've got to learn to listen with your eyes. So now you have the basic grammar of this powerful, wordless language. The next conversation you have, the next meeting you're in, even just the next time you're people watching at a coffee shop, pay attention. What are the unspoken stories being told all around you? Now that you know the language, what are you going to listen for?